Okay, look, I'm a day late to this, so you're just going to have to bear with me. You're just going to have to give me this, because someone will have already made a King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard joke. But the thing is, that's the first thing I thought as soon as I saw this particular new Seraphon lad, and I wanted to get it out there, even though I'm pretty sure I will be at least the 90th person to say that. But you know what? It's been preying on my mind, so it had to be said right at the start of the video. Now we should actually look at the model. This is a new Seraphon model, it is a new Saurus Astrolith Bearer, and it is solid. Look at that lad. Look at that lad. That is... oh, I love it. I absolutely love this. It's fantastic. It's fantastic on multiple levels, actually. It's fantastic because the Seraphon are finally getting a bit more attention. It's fantastic because it's a new sculpt for the Seraphon, which means that the attention they're getting is of the kind of rework variety, which they desperately need because, oh my god, that line of models is nearly as old as the Seraphon are in the actual lore itself. There are some absolutely ancient models in that range. They really could do with just a little bit of love, and they're getting it, and if it looks this good every single time, then I think I can see myself with a Seraphon army. Like, genuinely. I mean, I play more AOS than 40k at this point, but this is like, this is doing it for me. This is really doing it for me. You know, if you spend any time around the channel, that I really like models that have lots of different textures, lots of different kind of patterns, not so that they're completely overblown with detail, but so that you've got a nice mix of different materials to paint, because you get to do more techniques that way, you get to practice different things, and you get like a nice kind of contrast between things like stone and skin, and armour and cloaks and stuff. I like variety on models without them being too cluttered. And this feels like a really good example of that. We've got the skin of the Saurus itself, which is smooth for the most part, but then we also have the scales that are across the back of the arms and the shoulders, across the back of the tail. There is a nice bit of kind of angular armour going on here and there, but not too much of it to kind of obscure everything else. Things like the headdress, the haft of the banner, those are like, they're like patterned and carved, but they're not like massively overcomplicated. The shapes are relatively simple, there's just multiple layers of them, so it doesn't look like eye-bleedingly complex or anything. You've got a few gems dotted around, which give it like a really nice contrast to the fact that a lot of the pattern work is fairly angular. Even the headdress, which is fairly curved, has got kind of squares sticking out of it, and having something that's completely round in the form of those gems, I don't know, I think that offsets it quite nicely. It's the same with that standard as well. Like, I feel like the standard that he's holding has got a really nice mix of fairly harsh lines and actually really nice flowing lines as well. I really like the combination of all those different like shapes and edges, and I just feel like it's worked super well here. The glowy, funky lightning orb in the middle of that is absolutely fantastic. I think that looks great. That little detail of having a few feathers poking out of the side of it, like, I don't know, this is one of those rare ones. I can't think of anything I don't like about this model. This just looks great. Also, calling these emblem engines is quality. That's a great name. We're actually getting a really good look at the different angles of this guy as well. Like, it's not just the front one, we've actually got a bit of back detail going on there as well. Got a nice close-up on the head with that massive crest as well. I really like the design of that. The design of that is absolutely fantastic. I could be in trouble here. Like, we can do a direct comparison to the old Astrolith Bearer because it's still up on the site, and you know what? It looks pretty cool. I do like the icon on it, but it definitely looks dated at this stage. It definitely looks dated, and it should, because it's old AF. The actual Saurus warrior holding it looks just not great to me. It's also leaning far more heavily on the idea of like trophies taken, whereas the new one ditches all of that to go for something that looks proper otherworldly. There's definitely something of like a mysterious technology about the old one, but it's not quite as in your face as the new one. Like, at a glance, you wouldn't necessarily know what that does or why it looks the way it does. It could just be a particularly fancy icon with a big orb in the middle. You wouldn't necessarily get a clear idea as to it being some sort of channeling device for cosmic energy or something. Whereas the new one, because they can do cool lightning effects now, you get the idea of what this is a lot quicker. There is something powerful about it that the old one lacks. And really, there is no way that anyone is going to convince me that that old Saurus warrior looks better than the new one. I mean, if the rest of whatever they have planned looks as good as what we've seen so far for the Seraphon, then I'm in real trouble and we'll probably end up with another AOS army because, oh, it looks so good. The question is, what do you think? Are you a Seraphon player? Are you absolutely loving the look of this stuff? Let me know in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click all the things, Patreon, video, subscribe, all that stuff. Click it if you like, don't click if you don't want to. And as always, there's an affiliate link in the description for Element Games, which you can use to support the channel if you like. I leave it in your capable hands. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.